Welcome back guys. In this video I'll be showing you how to install DLSS enabler and LukeFZ Uniscaler FSR mods in Blackmate Wukong. I'll be running the game on my Rog Ally Windows 11 based handheld PC. I have the Z1E Extreme variant of this device. Now this game officially supports FSR3 frame generation. We'll be comparing its performance with both of these mods. I have already done my testing, did not observe any practical benefits from using either of these mods. In this game, if you use FSR frame generation in conjunction with VSYNC, FPS will get capped at 60. This is not good at all, so it's recommended to disable VSYNC. But I did observe some screen tearing at the center of the display when I used DLSS enabler and LukeFZ mod. I'll try to demonstrate this screen tearing issue. Both mods produced a common graphical artifact. When I had set the texture quality to anything other than low, blue colored textures were produced on the ground. This issue was not present when I used the official FSR frame generation implementation. Using these mods, you can change the upscaler from FSR to XeSS version 1.3. In this game, all of the upscalers produce some kind of graphical artifacts. Most of the artifacts are not easy to observe on a small display like the one on Ally. I'll kick things off with LukeFZ mod. It's a paid mod. You need to subscribe to LukeFZ's Patreon page in order to gain access to their Discord server where the mod files are present. Their monthly Patreon subscription costs around $6 US. I'll be using the preview 9 build of Uniscaler. A new version is available, but my Patreon subscription expired a month ago, so I was not able to obtain it. This game does not use DLSS version 3.7, so the preview 9 build of Uniscaler mod works fine with it. You need to download these two files from LukeFZ's Discord server. First open uniscaler_common.zip file. Copy all of the files and folders here. Go back. Paste. Now you need to copy Uniscaler folder, winmm.ini file and winmm.dll file. Need to paste them in the game's install directory. It's the Steam version of Wukong. Select the game in your Steam library, right click, manage, click on browse local files. Now open B1 folder, open binaries folder, open Win64 folder, paste the files here. This is the game's exe file. Now I need to open stub_nvngx folder that we extracted from Uniscaler common.zip file. Execute this registry file, enable signature override.reg. Yes. OK. This step is not required if you have an RTX based GPU. This mod supports DLSS upscaler as well, but it only works on RTX GPUs. Now I need to copy nvngx.dll file. Paste it in the same directory where you pasted the previous files, right here. Now just open uniscaler.zip file. Just need to copy this ASI file, paste it in the same directory where you pasted the previous files, right here. Now we need to generate the TUML file for this mod. Just need to run the game with the mod installed. Upon arriving at the menu, close the game, launch. You will see this black screen indicating that the mod is working. We are in. Quit. Go back to the directory where you pasted all of the mod files. Now look for a TUML file. There it is, uniscaler.config.tuml. Open it using any text editor. From here we can change the upscaler. By default FSR3 is selected C. I'll just switch to XeSS. It's version 1.3. This game does not support FSR 3.1. This means we cannot use XeSS or DLSS upscaler in conjunction with frame generation. Now you need to change fake NVIDIA GPU from false to true. Now we will be able to select DLSS. This game uses Unreal Engine 5, so change AMD Unreal Engine DLSS workaround from false to true. Click on file, click on save, close the file. My Ally is running on BIOS version 339. For this game I've set the UMA buffer size to 5 GB. Installed AMD's latest technical preview GPU driver that enables AFMF2. Using a 25 watts manual profile, all three power values set at 25 watts, 900p resolution, CPU boost disable. First I'll demonstrate the VSYNC bug. This is the game's adrenaline profile. FreeSync enable, VSYNC set to on. That's it. We'll be using a custom afterburner overlay to show you the performance metrics. Connected my GuliKit KK3 Max Gamepad to LiveWire Bluetooth mode. Shaders will get compiled at startup. Display settings. Display mode set to borderless 900p resolution. Frame rate cap VSYNC and motion blur disabled. Graphics settings. Resolution scale set to 67%. Upscaler set to DLSS. We have access to it all thanks to LukeFZ Mod. Frame generation enable. I'll just apply the setting. See, FPS got capped at 60. Settings. I have set anti-aliasing and global illumination quality to medium. Rest of the settings are set to low. Texture quality low. I'll just load the third chapter. New West, big open area. Later chapters in this game are slightly more demanding than the first chapter. There's a character and you can see FPS is capped at 60. This causes the input delay to increase. I'm looking at the sky, still we are getting 60 FPS. This particular area is very demanding. You can see the dragon dancing in the background. So just disable VSYNC. Game set adrenaline profile. VSYNC set to off. It does not matter whether you enable VSYNC from adrenaline or from the in-game settings. This bug is present even when you are using official FSR 3 implementation. At least on Rog Ally. Loaded the same sequence. Now we are getting around 63 FPS. Just looking at the sky, FPS increased to around 73. So that was the VSYNC bug. Make sure it's disabled. Otherwise your FPS will be capped at 60. Input delay. Okay, I'm observing some screen tearing at the center of the display during fast visual motion. Right here. Game's HUD elements are not flickering. Again, I observe some screen tearing around this area. This particular area is very demanding. Screen tearing like effect is present around the left and right edges of the display. Common FSR 3 artifact. $60 to 70 FPS. Input delay is not a problem. This is XeSS version 1.3 upscaler in action. Not observing any significant graphical artifacts around the character model. Very difficult to observe these artifacts on a small display. Show you some combat. VRAM usage is around 4.6 GB. 60 to 70 FPS. Screen tearing. Oh, these guys are strong. Almost died there. Okay, now I'll increase the texture quality to medium. Texture quality set to medium. Look at this bug. Ground textures are not rendered properly. Blue in color. I'll just set the texture quality to low again in order to fix this bug. Blue textures will be present when you set the texture quality to medium, high, very high or cinematic. In order to fix this bug, you need to set texture quality to low. I'll just disable frame generation as well to give you an idea about the pace performance of. Game should be running in a choppy manner now. Textures are rendered properly now. Base FPS dropped down to around 37. Yeah, you can see the choppiness. We are out of LSVRR range. Base FPS here is within a range of 30 to 37. Frame generation tries to double the FPS value. Okay, so now I'll be installing DLSS Enabler Mod. Rest at the shrine, reset the area. Need to remove LukeFZ Mod first. Delete all of its files. There you go. Unlike LukeFZ Uniscaler Mod, DLSS Enabler is absolutely free. It uses Nukem 9's DLSS G2 FSR 3 mod in order to enable frame generation. I'll be using DLSS Enabler's Beta 11 build. You can download it from Github. We'll give its link in the description. And just click on the exe link under Assets section. Now we need to copy the games directory where we will install the mod. Open B1 folder, binaries folder, Win64 folder. This is the directory. Copy. Go to downloads directory. Look for DLSS Enabler's exe file. There it is. Beta 11 build. Execute the exe file. Click on I accept. Next. Next. Paste the directory here. Next. First option check. Install as a version.dll file. Check this box. Enable support for AMD and Intel GPUs. Ally comes with an AMD based GPU Radeon 780M. Next, this mod will be spoofing an NVIDIA based GPU. Installation complete. Uncheck this box. Finish. Now just go to the directory where you install DLSS enabler. You'll see its files here. Just open nvngx.ini file. There it is. This version of DLSS enabler supports both FSR 3 and FSR 3.1 frame generation. I'll just use the former. Generator set to auto. And just type FSR 30. If you want to use FSR 3.1, just type FSR 3.1. Did not observe a big improvement in performance with FSR 3.1. Entirely up to you. Click on File, click on Save. By default, DLSS enabler uses XeSS upscaler on non-RTX based GPUs. Don't need to change anything. Adrenaline settings for the game. FreeSync enable, VSYNC disable. You also need to disable Adrenaline's in-game overlay. It can cause the game to crash. Just click on Settings cog here. Click on Preferences. Disable in-game overlay. Also make sure Afterburner overlay is not running in the background. I'll be using Army Crates overlay. Play. Army Crate overlay is not able to show any value for APU watt as I have installed AMD's GPU driver on my Ally. I'm not using Ally's official GPU driver, but you can see the FPS counter. In-game settings same as before. 900p resolution, display mode borderless, frame rate cap, VSync and motion blur disabled. Graphics settings, resolution scale set to 67, resolution sampling set to DLSS, frame generation enabled, setting applied, anti-aliasing and global illumination quality set to medium. Rest of the settings are set to low. I'll just delete the game shader cache files as I have changed the mod. Just open C drive, open users folder, then open the folder whose name is the same as your PC's username. Open app data folder. If this folder is not visible in your case, just click on view, go to show, check this setting, hidden items. Open local folder. Here look for B1 folder. There it is. Now open saved folder. Select these files and folders. Delete them. That's it. Now the game will compile the shaders again. Yeah, shaders are getting compiled. It's the same sequence. Yeah, here FPS is around 65 with frame generation. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. Observing some screen tearing at the center of the display right here on the top side. Screen tearing like effect is present around the edges of the display left and right. Image quality is looking decent. No significant graphical artifacts around the character model. Roughly the same performance using LukeFZ Mod and DLSS enabler. 60 to 70 FPS here. Show you some combat. Game's HUD elements are not flickering. I observed some screen tearing. Again, when I look around quickly, see, Okay, now I'll increase the texture quality. Texture quality set to medium. Apply. The blue textures are back again. The ground textures are not rendered properly even when using DLSS enabler. Texture quality set to anything other than low. See, now I'll be running again using the official FSR 3 implementation. Uninstall the mod first. Just execute the mod's uninstall.exe file. There it is. Delete any remaining files. That's it. Delete the game's cache files as well. Same adrenaline settings as before. FreeSync enable, VSync disable. Shaders are getting compiled again. Display settings. Display mode set to borderless 900p resolution, frame rate cap, VSync and motion blur disabled. Resolution scale set to 67. Resolution sampling set to FSR frame generation enabled. Anti-aliasing quality and global illumination quality set to medium. Rest of the settings are set to low. Afterburner overlay works with official FSR implementation. It's the same sequence. You can see the dragon dancing in the background. FPS is around 64. Roughly the same performance using LukeFZ Mod, DLSS enabler and official FSR frame generation implementation. Check out the input response. Yeah, the controls are very responsive. Not observing any significant screen tearing in the center part of the display. Rog Ally system latency is on the lower side, and that's a good thing. I have already beaten many bosses in this game running on my Ally with FSR frame generation enabled. Even uploaded Tiger Vanguard's boss fight on the channel. If you have played this game, you know Tiger Vanguard boss fight is not easy. You need to respect the boss, learn their attack pattern in order to win. You just cannot spam your attacks to take down the boss. Yeah, FPS is close to 70. Game's HUD elements are not flickering. This is FSR upscaler, not observing any significant graphical artifact around the character model. 76 FPS. So it's better to just use official FSR frame generation implementation instead of using these FSR 3 mods in this game, at least on Rog Ally. If you have an RTX based GPU, then you can use either of these mods to switch to DLSS upscaler. I forgot to test the texture quality setting. Just change the preset to medium. Blue textures won't be produced now as we are using official FSR implementation. Game loaded up and you can see the textures are rendered properly. Blue textures are not present. FPS is close to 55. Again, the same performance across all three FSR frame generation implementations. So that's it with the video, guys. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.